Should I open it? The big reveal of how much it is?
Yeah.
What do we think it is? I apparently didn't read the sign that I can't be on this side of the road. City of Azusa, site 1600 5131. Fine $51. Yep, 51. Did you get that? Oh man, I literally got one yesterday, so this just really isn't my week. I also got one for not curbing my tires on a hill. That one sucked. You know, this Airbnb has kind of been rough, and I booked it, so of course it's all on me. But the guy was like, oh, sorry, like the power's gonna be out from 7:45 to like 11:45. Like, hope that's chill. And we're like, oh, that'd be fine. And then like as the night's going on, we're like, wait, we actually like really need power. Like, you know, it's the night before the race. This actually really sucks. Oh, and this morning they were hammering the roof next door, like 6 a.m. just like, and then the bed broke today. It's fine. Hopefully all the bad luck has run out. It's important stuff.
Yeah, it does close at 3.
Oh no!
Are you willing to drive a few extra minutes?
Yeah, that's fine.
East?
Off to lunch. Wait, can you hold this though? Yeah, hold my phone. We're driving to lunch. Yeah, get some sandwiches, maybe a salad. We're still like 6 hours from the race, so we can go pretty crazy. I'm really excited to race Colleen Quigley. She's run some pretty like crazy fast 15s. And I mean, indoors, I was in that mile race where she won. As far as like threats go, you know, she's like a huge name in the field. I really like racing Helen Slachtenhofen, however you say her last name. We actually did when I was up in Flagstaff, we did a workout together, kind of like under the radar, like this super badass fast girl that like kind of gets overlooked. I think Corey McGee's in it. Like there's some good kickers. I think Danny Jones is also in it, which I always love racing Danny too. She always like, we both, I feel like, have a similar style of like sit and kick. So yeah, I mean, there's like a ton of good girls in it. Bye.
I will see you at the track.
Okay. Good luck. Wait, 7:20 or 7:35? Okay, I'll watch. Oh, I gotta log into my mom's FloTrack.
So you can see they dropped down the pacer down to 1. That's Therese Heiss.
Come on, go with her. This happens like every time she paces.
So again, we'll see if
Like
they
don't go with her.
Formerly of Penn State.
Looking good.
Like these people.
I'm also nervous my mom's watching, and then it's just gonna like kick me off.
They didn't go with the pacer. You can't blame Heiss for that.
I like how they're defending her. Can't blame her, she did her job. Alright, that was fun. Oh wait, I have to log out, my mom's gonna be mad. Nothing about closing that door is like smooth. After I got that world standard, it was like kind of this relief that I didn't even know I had put on myself. And no, I think I feel the same way about the Olympic standard. It would be really, really nice to run sub 404.2, but more so I just want to be top 3, maybe even walk away with another win. It's been feeling so good to win, and I feel like, yeah, I think tonight, if I could get the win, that's, I think, number 1. And then number 2, if that comes with a Olympic qualifier, then that would just be like another weight lifted. Let's go, Sam! Come on, Sam! You look great, Sam! Keep it rolling! Come on, Brooke!
Make a move, Brock! Make a move!
Kate Grace is going to fly past Shelby Houlihan, world number 1.
They just too flat. Damn.
Wait, fuck, did Shelby break it?
Yeah, Shelby definitely did. Yay! Oh, that's cute. Yay! Okay.
You see my number like falling off? I had to pin it
Oh
on.
yeah. How does I
warmed
need to put mine on.
Well, I warmed up with it on. I think
And I cannot for the life of me get this sticker. How did you do this?
Do my nails?
Yeah, do it for me.
You know what it is? You found the wrong corner.
Ah, of course
Hold
I
on,
did.
I haven't figured it out.
I'm gonna put this on crooked, I bet.
Here we go.
Yes, thank you. Whew. There it is.
Look at that beauty.
Sunset tour.
Aqsa Ali, can you get under 829? And McNichols finished second. Look at that, 828.49, a world championship qualifier for Ali. McNichols,
Hey.
So all kidding aside, right? Just brush it together.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a long, like, slow build-up, and then like
But there's going to be that sort of grind,
exposure. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
You can't get the school record.
It's like obviously you have more people than when Coco did it to you,
True.
you know? But just know, if you get to there, then you're going to be all right.
Okay.
So you just got to toughen it out in that middle part.
Okay.
Trust what you're good at and work on the weaknesses,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
So as a dress rehearsal for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
You know?
Sweet.
All right?
Cool.
I'll be over here. I'm going to just check on the guys. Do your deal.
Okay. For tonight's race, it's a loaded field as well. I mean, there's a lot of girls who could potentially like come away with the win tonight. So
We've kind of got the new guard, the old guard, the 1,500 runners, the 800 runners, the 5K runners stepping down. So this is quite a lineup.
every race has been different, and I think with this field, with this race, this win would mean like a lot more than maybe some of the other ones. I think a win would be something to prove tonight, for sure.
I would say that Nikki Hiltz is going to be really tough to beat. She's been having a great 2019, moves into second, tucked in behind her teammate, Feldmeyer the Rabbit. Out 69 for the pack here through 400 meters.
Championship season is finally like upon us, and I've had seasons where I've gone into like a championship kind of really under the radar, and you know, to kind of be on the opposite side of that and maybe have like a small target on my back, it's kind of like new to me, but you know, I think I do the best when the stage is big.
There is Hiltz, who you have to think trusts her finishing speed as well. Corey McGee in a good position, as Colleen Quigley now moving on the outside of Hermanson to get up into that fourth position. So coming in to the final lap. Nikki Hiltz with that 2:01, 800 meter speed. Quigley goes to the lead. Hiltz right where they're looking, very comfortable, very smooth. Nikki Hiltz has been on a tear this year.
She's just starting to show the talent that she has as a true athlete. She's just now building into some more development of what you would expect of a great collegiate runner to make that next jump to be a pro.
Nikki Hiltz killing it here in the last 200 meters, pulling away from Colleen Quigley.
You know, having that first win back in April, like every race I get in, I'm like, I want to repeat that.
Pulling away from Colleen Quigley, the 2019 USA Indoor Mile Champ, and it's all Nikki Hiltz to continue her fire 2019 season.
On the state record at 800 meters. She lost that, and then she got one back. What a race there for Nikki.
Oh my God. I'm happy. I'm so, like, relieved is the wrong word. I think just like the fact that I executed exactly what I wanted to. I mean, I think that's like rare in this sport, but I don't know. It never gets old winning. I think right now, like right here when I'm putting my shoes back on, like this is the moment when it hits you and it's like, okay, I did it, you know?
Nikki Hiltz, one of America's rising stars at the 1,500 meter distance.
In college, I didn't really win that much. Like, I was second a lot. And so now to kind of be on this, like, grind of winning, I don't know, I feel like it's addicting. Like, there's no other word for it.
You know, I've had great 1,500 meter runners in the past, so Nikki kind of ticks the same boxes of what, you know, we had with an Anna Willard or a Morgan Houstony, and so that's kind of exciting, obviously, to see that she's making some of those same jumps to them, and we talk about that a lot.
I feel like I'm pretty, like, realistic with my goals. I'm not really much of, like, a dreamer, and so I think my goal, Terrence asked me early in the season, like before the VA mile, he was like, what are your goals? And I was like, oh, I think, my best finish at USA has been 6. Like, I think top 5 would be cool. And he was like, okay, that's logical, it's a good goal. And then kind of after I've been running so well and running faster and racing like all these legit people and doing well, I think you have to like do something crazy, and then you're like, that's when you believe in yourself. And so yeah, I think it's just kind of, I'm not afraid to say like top 3 is my new goal, just kind of after like the season I've been having.
I'm someone who expects, a professional athlete to be professional, to be mature, to take ownership of their own careers. And I think that's something like that Nikki really likes to do. You got to run for something that's a little more than just you. And so if you're gonna, if the pride's gonna be your platform, then you got to own it and you got to do it and you got to really work hard at it. Because I do think those things are important for athletes, and they're important because I think it gets beyond what sport can be about.
Right. It's almost like I'm running for more than just myself. I have this whole like community behind me, this other entity like separate from running, this LGBTQ community, and I think honestly that could also be another factor in why this season's going well. I just have had so much like positive interactions with like people from that community, and yeah, I definitely love it.
Not making a team is you failing at your job, and the Army does not take failure very lightly whatsoever.
It's all about making the world team and Olympic teams.
When they put me on the starting line in running, that's the same mentality that I have. Be ready to die for the country.
It's a huge commitment to commit to the Army. Go to basic training, which really means we're not going to see you again for almost a year.
I wasn't prepared really well for a lot of push-ups, pull-ups and all those things.
We went to the mile and I ran like 4:10, and the drill sergeant was like, dude, who do you think you are?
I raced definitely like a kamikaze style. Literally crushed people before the race even started. And I'd keep pushing and pushing to the point of literally not finishing races. So I had a tendency to actually sometimes like collapse because I would run too hard. In 2014, I had one of my best marathoning years ever. The 10 years of training that I've had behind me allows me to make really good transitions between the track and the marathon. But I felt like something was missing. I decided that I wasn't going to be fully prepared under that coaching system, and to really dive into the marathon, I needed a really good endurance coach. Not a lot of people can say that they do this, and I kind of see it as like a privilege. The cookbook project, we were talking about runners sometimes had some of the worst diets we'd ever seen. I genuinely enjoy getting in the kitchen. I'm not afraid of it anymore. I eat this literally before like every long run and marathon as well, so. I believe we're close to 8 weeks out from the Olympic trials, and all the hard work is starting to like culminate right now. Pushing myself to attain a level of fitness that'll be really competitive for the top 3. I always think about when I'm running it, how many people have run up and down this road. It's all about just building the best Shalane that I can build right now and being the fittest I can be.
She works her ass off, and she does it in such a smart way.
Yeah, it's a pretty good quality run. So I think we were averaging 6:30-ish a mile. That's a pretty solid long run for me right now. It's about getting myself to that next level that's going to be good enough to be on the team to go to Rio.
She's like right at that line. She knows exactly where it is, and she works there every single day.
I just never believe in, kind of settling for anything. It's crazy how things work out.
Every athlete is a unique package of talent and will and courage.
Every time she stepped on the track, there was a record that was following, some big surprise.
Jenny has like the best last 50 in the world. She's pretty fearless. She might be a once-in-a-career talent.
It's pretty cold out, but we'll go outside and cool down inside.
We need 2.5.
Nah, we got buffalo skin.
All right, nice and relaxed. You're good.
The story of me beginning
My journey in running is really important to me, especially I think as I get older.
She has to do things pretty differently, and there's a big spotlight on her.
2009 was really special.
I really wanted to win cross country.
No, there's more work to do.
Stop thinking about it, just go! Whoa! You just took down the national champion.
The hammer, though, has just been dropped.
The NCAA made you could get smashed in the mouth early on, and you got to weather the storm.
Yeah, you can see it starting to hurt now as the pace has really gotten going.
This is a statement race. They want to show that, hey, I am the one to beat at NCAAs. What up, FloTrack? The John McNichols Invitational is upon us, and here's the deal. The top-ranked schools from around the country are duking it out on the Terre Haute course before NCAAs. It's going to be wild action. We got the #1 ranked NAU Lumberjacks going against the #2 ranked Stanford Cardinal. On the women's side, the #1 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks against the #5 ranked Michigan Wolverines and #6 ranked Stanford Cardinal. Top-ranked teams from both sides on the women and men's side duking it out to see who can flex the muscles the best early on in September. It's going down live on FloTrack. Check it out.
Welcome into the 2019 John McNichols Invite here at the Laverne Gibson Cross Country Course in Terre Haute, Indiana, home of the Indiana State Sycamores. I am here. I'm Alex Lohr. This is my colleague Gordon Mack, and we are welcoming you officially to the 2019 cross country season.
Yes, the NCAA season starts and ends in Terre Haute with what can be a preview of the NCAA championships. We have top-ranked teams on both the men's and women's sides duking it out here in September. You got to love it. But look at this whole schedule we got. We have so many great races from now all the way to November, starting with this McNichols Invitational. We'll head out to Roy Griak, as always, in Minneapolis. You love that meet. Being from Minneapolis.
I'll be there.
You'll be there. Live in Lou Classic, new meet we're doing. D3 teams going to be there. Top teams ranked. Also FSU Invitational. And then, Nutty Comb and Pre-Nats. We'll be here for Pre-Nats. We'll be out back in Wisconsin for Nutty Comb. You got to love that weekend especially.
And I love that Big Ten meet in there as well. It's hard to lock that one down. It's one of my favorite meets of the year. The team competitive schedule there is like nothing else. The fans come out in droves on that one. Don't forget about the Big Ten one.
And unique this year is we're all doing all 9 regionals. All 9. So last year we did 3. We're doing all 9 this year. So if you're from the Mid-Atlantic, you're from the Midwest, you get to see your boys and girls run and duke it out to try to qualify for NCAAs, which will be live on Flo. D1, D2, D3. We're here at the host of the D1 Nationals. What's your thoughts on this course? You've been here many times working at FloTrack. I'm not sure if have you ever run this course?
I've never raced it.
Okay.
I've run on it a lot. I actually did get a little, I ran on it last night just before it basically closed up shop. This course does run fast. A quick heads up, it did dump rain right before the sun went down last night. But overall, it's stiff. It's hot here this weekend. So, and it's just the women are just running a 5K. So we could see a really quick time. It's hot, it's not super windy, it's kind of a hard surface, so it could run a little hot this weekend.
And this course is very new to a lot of these athletes. Let's remember, the last time NCAAs was here is 2016. A lot of people on teams now, we're not on varsity squads back in 2016 unless you're a 5th year or 4th year senior. So a lot of new terrain for a lot of these non-Great Lakes type athletes.
Yeah.
And that's why teams like Stanford, Iowa State are coming here to get a preview of this course before NCAAs.
100%.
Speaking of previewing the course, what are the top teams that are previewing it? We'll look at the FloTrack rankings on the women's side. We have 6 ranked teams competing here at the John McNichols Invitational, starting with the #1 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. Gotta love what they're doing, led by Taylor Warner, who had a phenomenal track season. And then he filled it out with some perennial powerhouses in the cross-country course.
Yeah, you love seeing this early of a meet with a legit kind of competition schedule. I mean, this is some of the top-ranked teams in the country racing the first weekend of the season on the championship course. A super rare gem right now for you this weekend. If you love cross-country, we're diving right into it. If you're a freshman, you're landing on campus and you're like, hey, just a heads up, you're racing Stanford this weekend.
Yes, Arkansas, Michigan, Stanford, Washington, coming all the way from Seattle. Indiana's in the house, also Northern Arizona women. So 6 ranked teams duking it out, all going at the #1 team, which is the Arkansas Razorbacks. On the men's side, we have 5 ranked teams, and this is going to be a bloodbath. We have the #1 ranked NAU Lumberjacks going up against the #2 ranked Stanford Cardinal. I can't wait for this matchup.
There's so many questions that are going to be answered today. A 1-2 matchup on opening weekend on the championship course. Questions around Northern Arizona, questions around Stanford, who's got the greater depth. Stanford's got a new coach on hand, but I think another thing people need to remember is Iowa State is straight loaded. They got great guns up front. They've tacked on a little depth in the middle, and look out, because Iowa State might crash this Northern Arizona Stanford 1-2 punch.
Yeah, we talked about Iowa State. in contention to win a team title. If you're ranked in the top 5 in the preseason, you have a chance to win it all. And also some other ranked teams here, Indiana 14 and Purdue showing up. They got some great young guys. They can mix it up with these top ranked teams, maybe upset a few. We'll find out. But first, let's take a look back at last season. Last season was a phenomenal year. Colorado women, NAU men, Danny Jones winning it, Morgan McDonald on his home course. And you know what? I kind of get the chills, kind of want to go throwback. So let's take a quick view looking back at NCAA's last year in Madison, Wisconsin, and the excitement that went down.
We're here at the Thomas Zimmer Championship cross country course, home of the Wisconsin Badgers and site of the 2018 NCAA Division I cross country championships. It's the first time cross country championships have been in Madison in 40 years. We're here to actually put it all on the line and find out a lot of answers today. Some of the big stories, you have returning champs in New Mexico women.
It's great to have Kurgat, it's great to have Kaladi, Charlotte Prowse. Those three make up the undisputed best trio. New Mexico's 5, I think, is going to tell the story of this women's race.
Northern Arizona on the men's side, trying to go for their 3rd title in a row.
We've trained for whatever scenario is going to happen tomorrow, if it's slow, if it's fast.
Number 3, 1, 2, 3, number!
And we've been preparing specifically for this meet for so long.
The environment produces just so much adrenaline for you. You don't need to do any sort of hyping yourself up. This moment is really all about composure and drowning out the noise and getting in your zone right here.
A little bit of break starting to form there in your top 25 or so as Anna Rohr pushing the pace today with Alio right there.
Right now, NAU, where we thought they would be, in control with a heavy lead going into the halfway point.
This is where the race begins. This is where you start to just ratchet it up, you know, in a calculated manner.
We're going to be coming up to 4K here in just a moment. Colorado with 4 in the top 25. At this point, Gordon, this might be Colorado's to lose.
I know. I mean, you look at this, it's a 60-point lead for Colorado.
And this pack is broken away, and our individual champ is going to come from this group of men here.
Here goes Kaladi.
This could be the move to win that individual title. They're trying to keep it at New Mexico.
Fisher, McDonald, Kurgat, and even the freshman Isai Rodriguez all look very calm in their face. So they're still just waiting to the final 200, 250 meters.
And Kalani throwing in a surge and has 10 meters on the field.
Watch out, there's Danny Jones in the dark uniform. We said if the race was conservative in that pre-show that she would have a shot with that kick.
You can see Danny Jones right there about 10 meters back on the home straightaway. Can she wheel her in?
And here we go, the final straightaway. It's Morgan McDonald trying to win in front of a home crowd. Kurgat trying to take him down. Fisher trying to win his first title. Danny Jones has made the pass on Wayne Kaladi, and it looks like Danny Jones might run away with this. Here they come to the finish line. The crowd is so loud here in Madison.
Colorado goes 1-8, 15-22. Colorado might win this.
What a finish and what emotion there at the finish line there for the Colorado Buffalo.
This is incredible. We were just talking about the 2000 team that won the individual and the team title here 18 years ago, and we did it again, and it's unbelievable.
With a team point total of 65 points, Colorado Buffaloes and head coach Mark Watford.
Back to back to back 3 times, it's like mentally it's the hardest thing ever.
The first team to win 3 in a row since Arkansas did it, 1998 to 2000. The Lumberjacks of Northern Arizona and head coach Michael Smith.
If that doesn't fire you up for cross country, I don't know what will. Amazing races last year, and I can't believe how much it came down to that final straightaway on both sides. Morgan McDonald gets the win in front of his home crowd, and then Danny Jones takes it over Kaladi there in the home stretch, and that's going to be a great storyline to follow, Winnie Kaladi. But she won't be here today, but the rest of the women, they're here today. We got a couple women's storylines we want to jump into today.
Yeah, check out those women's storylines. It starts with the #1 Arkansas Razorbacks. Will they flex their muscles? That's the question. They have the #1 ranked team. They aren't going to run a full squad, but if they can dominate a #5 ranked Michigan, #6 ranked Cardinal with, a B+, A- squad, that is showing something to those New Mexicos and Colorados who are watching at home.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Arkansas women, I'd say typically people have this perception that they have underperformed over the last few years. This year they come into the season with, I think, 4 girls who can run 15:45, and they're just running a 5K. Remember that again today. So there's a chance that they might rip away from the field halfway through this thing. Can Arkansas put everything together this year? They always have a great, solid recruiting class. They have some foreigners that come in that they develop. They've always had these pieces, but will this be the year that they finally, everything kind of falls into place for them on the day?
Well, they're trying to pull off the Serena sweep, the calendar year sweep, where they won indoors, they won outdoors in 2019, trying to win cross-country in 2019. Another top storyline looked at is the freshman. We always want to say, who's that new freshman coming in? And Michigan has a stud in Erica Vanderland. She won her home opener at Michigan, and talking to the coach, there's some little signs of maybe she could be their next Aaron Finn.
Yeah, and I was seeing some more, another comment from him is, my girls like to race. We're ready to race. We're not going to hold anything back. So I'm excited to see kind of their tactics right off the bat. It's not a big field, so remember that. So you can't really sit back in this race, especially if you're in Michigan. I think the top 4 squads are going to be up front, and so their cards are going to get shown pretty early, I think, here. So, and Michigan is a team that moved up really well in 2016. Halfway through this race in 2016 on this course, people thought Michigan was going to take this thing. So Michigan, don't count them out. A freshman leading the squad will be tough, but it's been done before, and might end up on the podium regardless.
Another story to look at is the Stanford Cardinal, led by new head coach J.J. Clark. Ricardo Santos, I think, is focusing on the men's. J.J. Clark focusing on the women. But what do you think Stanford's going to do on this new leadership?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Stanford's squad is their recruiting class every year is so amazing. But the thing is, a lot of these girls, like we said, they haven't had NCAAs here since 2016. So this weekend, you feel out the course a little bit. You feel out just the day, the logistics of it. This is where you do your strides. This is that one place in Terre Haute that you can go get breakfast and then one upset, whatever it is. I think, especially when there's new coaches and there's kind of all these, outlying things that these intangibles that you can't figure out. Coming to an early season meet like this where the pressure's a little lower, that's when you can kind of knock out those intangibles and start getting some direction for this new program.
And it's also just new for the athletes. They want to see, what is it like having J.J. Clark talk to me before a race? You're like, what's he going to tell me? What's his secret sauce that he has been doing in UConn and in Tennessee? Stanford, it's a lot of veteran leadership there. So there's a lot of juniors and seniors on both the men's and women's squads. And then they have a new coach. So it's going to be like, how do they handle, hey, this is how we've done it the past 3 to 4 years, and coach trying to be able to say, well, I want you to do it this way, but we got to work together.
And I think it's interesting, Coach Santos is there. I will never, one of my greatest memories of Terre Haute is seeing Kate Avery when he was at Iona. Avery just destroyed this field. I mean, I'd never seen anybody run away from a pack like that, and she was just an animal that day. So he's got some great perspective on this course and championship running.
And one other thing to think about, yes, we're talking about the Michigans, Stanfords, Washingtons, and Arkansas. NAU women are here. They're ranked 23rd in the nation. They haven't made the NCAA championship since 2008. So they're searching for those Colas points. They're searching to try to get a win here, a win there, and it starts here. And we all talk about the NAU men, rightfully so, but these women looking good. They redshirted a few women last year. Got Taryn O'Neill, the transfer from Villanova. So can the number 23 NAU women upset, maybe get third, maybe get second? Who knows?
Knock it down the door. I mean, if they can snag a point here and there,
Yes.
that'll be huge for them because they're in such a tough region, so keep an eye on that.
Moving over to the men's side, got to start with, can Stanford upset NAU? What are your thoughts?
I mean, if you look, Stanford's lineup is unbelievable. I mean, out of the wood, the amount of guys that they have, that 1345, 1340 range, the depth there is unbelievable. Connor Lane, I think, is under. The dude's run 1335 for 5 guy. And they have a steeplechase national champion. Is this the year they finally put those pieces together? I've already said that, Dave, but Stanford's men have been the bridesmaid for a lot of years. They're always this team. At the beginning of every season, we say, hey, look out for Stanford. They got guys. They got the pieces. Don't count them out. If they have the right day, they can win it. We say that literally every season, I feel like. But this one feels a little different.
Yeah, we'll find out, especially the whole dynamic of a different coach. But NAU is still very good. They've won 3 in a row for a reason. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out in their first race against each other. Individually, though, Edwin Kurgat is on the course. He's the number 2 ranked athlete in the preseason in the nation, top returner from Madison last year. Can this be the race where he takes down all these Stanford NAU guys and shows, hey, I am the top dog to be the individual winner in 2019?
Yeah, it'll be really. I'm very interested in Iowa State this year and kind of that team dynamic. I think they have a couple guys on that squad that don't mind just going out from the gun and rolling with it. You might see that today. Whereas a Stanford and a NAU, we'll probably see them more pack mentality. Again, it'll be a little bit tougher to understand those tactics because there'll be a smaller field today, but will he break away and just roll with it? I can see him definitely doing that. You can do that on this course. And you can almost, we call when it's hard and fast, you can call it, turn this thing into a track meet. There are some guys on Iowa State's squad who can turn this thing into a track meet. They have some talent, some 145 guys in the middle of their lineup that can just roll on a 10K. The Cyclones, man, on paper, they look really strong.
They are very
strong.
We look at this, it's not just a 2-team race. We can say it's a 3-team race, but there's that 4th team that no one's really talking about, and that's the number 19 ranked Purdue Boilermakers. They got a great leader in Jarrett Carpenter, Curtis Eckstein. They got Brody Smith, a bunch of guys. They could maybe upset the apple cart and maybe snag a 3rd place finish and beat one of the Iowa State, Stanfords, or NAUs. It could happen.
Yeah, I think for a squad like Purdue to get this experience to run against these other squads early in the year, and maybe snag a point, that'd be huge for them. Coming out of the Big Ten, coming out of that Great Lakes region, it's always difficult, and I feel like Purdue's kind of one of those squads that are kind of teetering on the bubble when we're doing our Colas calculator. Yeah. So snagging a point here would be huge, and it's also, they just drive over here and they're so used to this course, and they've run Terre Haute course a million times, so they might have a little backhand knowledge of how best to roll with this thing.
And one of the different storylines to look at is NAU. They're not running 2 of their top guys in Blaze Fair and Jordy Beamish, but they are running a lot of freshmen, a lot of redshirt freshmen. 4 redshirt freshmen. This is the opportunity for NAU to show off their depth. And speaking of depth, we actually went to NAU. I was in Flagstaff a few weeks ago. Got to see one of their workouts in Buffalo Park. Did a nice little 2-mile loop over and over again. And check out this NAU workout from a few weeks ago with the number 1 ranked Lumberjacks.
Leave it in the rock. dude. That's in there.
You just go.
Didn't even notice.
Oh,
dude, get it out. Get it out.
Keep it.
Keep it. Not you, dude. Not you.
I got it. Take it out. Pull it.
Oh!
Dude, you're gonna be Spider-Man tomorrow.
Oh, you're gonna turn into a cactus, dude.
Cactus Man.
Cactus Man.
This is our aerobic threshold, not our anaerobic threshold. Duration's better in this, okay? So I'd rather you had more laps at a slower pace. So let's just get a baseline for this workout. We'll do this 4 times, okay? So we got 3 more of these. Big difference when the temperature comes down. So let's just get a baseline with this, a good starting point. That's all we want today. Homeboy, you good with 4 miles?
Can I see how I feel like at 2?
Yes. Yes. Just remember that that hill may make you feel like...
Yeah, like crap at this point.
Crap would be an understatement. If you could just feel like crap, that'd be great. For most of you guys, what we're gonna do is target 11 to 11:10, something like that on the first loop. And then, yeah, just kind of let you go from there. So for that, like what we're looking for is it's feel, right? So take into account that it's warm, it's early, things like that. So let's have the numbers be what the numbers are at the end, as long as we're kind of keeping in that aerobic effort. When I was just telling Drew this, like aerobic effort in relevancy to Buffalo Park is someone put that 30-meter hill in the middle of this. So aerobic effort after this hill is all in kind of relativity to it, right? So you're gonna be anaerobic coming off that hill. But we wanna have big group presence for these workouts. So yes, your role in this is, execute today, but like, let's go head on to the warm down today feeling like we had a great team workout today, right? Because if, we go into Wisconsin and we get started off on that day with that B race, those guys having a great race, we know we race really well that next race. Okay, so big team mentality in everything that we're doing. So let's just have a good team workout today, all right? Awesome. Jimmy, Bo, and Landley, I'm going to have you guys in the 540 to 550 range. So just let the rest of these guys go just a dash. I want everyone else trying to be in the 11-0s, something like that. All right. Cool. Want any questions? All right, sweet. Have a good session. What's that? Guys, this one in particular, it's on paper, it's not real glamorous, but this is, to me, what is going to make the difference on the second half of a long-distance cross-country race, right? Particularly distance from 8K to 10K. We want to be moving oxygen so well that we can handle these faster paces and we can be there to compete late, okay? So all those teams out there that are dreading the difference from 8K to 10K, that's actually that's our office. That's where your desk and your chair is. That's where you go to work.
Yeah, it's always nice getting back out there with a big group. I think some of the boys have been doing a couple over the summer, but first one for me, first workout of the season, and yeah, just nice being back with a big group.
You gotta get over like this thing of like harder is better. It's like you want to find that sweet spot of just on that line and maintainable.
Yeah.
How's that, Louise?
Oh, felt great, yeah. Well, it looks a little bit tired, mileage, you know, but other than that, made the best of the workout today, even with tired legs. But yeah, it's good running with the boys again and all working together and running as a team rather than individuals. So I'd say it was a great day for first Buffalo Park of the season for sure.
That felt pretty good today. That was like pretty much my best sub-T that I've ever done. I don't know if I've ever done 8 before. Maybe like one other time. I know I've done 7, but every other time it was like hovering right above like 5:30 and around there, you know? So going like from 5:30 down into like the 5:20s, like low, felt pretty good. I guess that was just doing 100-mile weeks all summer and stuff. But the whole team, like that was awesome. Going 6 or having that many people go 6 like that fast and like working together really well and stuff. That was really exciting. Like last year around this time we would have like, you know, usually something kind of like that, like a group trying to run like that, but that was like the most people being able to kind of move off at 5:30 and like just feel good and be pretty smooth. So yeah, that was good. 2 years ago there was a really big sub-T where like I feel like 8 or 9 dudes went in like 5:30 pace for like 8 miles or something like that, 7 or 8 miles, and like we were just ecstatic about that, and we just had a bunch of guys able to do that like in the first week, so we'll feel I'm really excited about that.
Oh, dude, you can't even see it. I would lay on
that.
I would lie on that as well. Holy shit.
Oh.
I was just trying to get it to move. It's tarantula. Right, yeah, dude, you can't even see it. It was even more camouflage before. Dude, that's scary. Look at him. No, you definitely don't do that to that.
Is that definitely a tarantula? It doesn't look like one.
No, they are.
Like that tarantula. Dude, they're so skinny.
Right, let's get him on as well. Let's get him out of this area. Come on, little guy.
Gentlemen, that was a great starting point for us. I like the emotional energy. We weren't too hyped. It was just solid, steady. That's where we want to be right this time of year. Let's just get this work in. One of the things that's hard to decipher is like your evaluation based on how it feels. So I'm interested in how it feels. I don't want you to read too much into how it feels, all right? Let's just get this work in. It was warm for a sub-T. We got a nice starting point. That same effort in October translates to much bigger numbers. So I loved where we were. I like seeing our group stick together and people looking out for each other. So quick turnaround for tomorrow morning, right? So tonight's important. Just taking really good care of yourself and eat, sleep, and be refocused on that run tomorrow. Okay. All right, sweet. And then Corey, Drew, Caleb, welcome to Buffalo Park. All right, see you guys. Great first sub-threshold for us. It was warm, and we had guys going as far as 8 miles, so that was impressive. When we do these, we're just watching to make sure the effort is where we want it. So listening to breathing and just making sure that they're doing this and not turning it into a different workout than it's supposed to be. keeping at the right effort. So that was what they did today. Mission accomplished. Good energy, right? Like we don't want them too hyped too early, and so we just really try to downplay what we're trying to do and keep the energy low. They got the job done. It's perfect.
What up, FloTrack? The John McNichols Invitational is upon us, and here's the deal. The top-ranked schools from around the country are duking it out on the Terre Haute course before NCAAs. It's going to be wild action. We got the #1 ranked NAU Lumberjacks going against the #2 ranked Stanford Cardinal. On the women's side, the #1 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks against the #5 ranked Michigan Wolverines and #6 ranked Stanford Cardinal. Top-ranked teams from both sides on the women and men's side duking it out to see who can flex the muscles the best early on in September. It's going down live on FloTrack. Check it out.
And welcome into the 2019 Laverne Gibson Championship cross-country course, the John McNichols Invite here at Terre Haute, Indiana. The cross-country season has begun. Gordon, you're looking at the finish line there. You can see our squads are getting their final stride outs now. And Gordon, a couple ranked teams in the mix here, but we're also tossing in some IUPUI Tigers, some regional squads, a little grab bag of all that is good in the world of cross-country.
That's right. And this meet is named after John McNichols, the phenomenal coach here, the legendary coach, I could say, at Indiana State. Passed away early back in 2016. And in honor of him, they named this invitational, which is the right thing to do. And this invitational is an impressive one now with all these great teams from all over the country coming here to check out this championship course.
Yeah, what a way to honor the man. I mean, I think you know, you can have a cross-country course, but to support it like this community does take somebody, you know, like Coach McNichols, and, you know, to have all these volunteers, to have the timers, to have, you know, an overall city that just supports this course and has the logistics to, you know, have NCAA championships year after year. Takes a special sort of guy, and what a great way to honor his legacy here for opening weekend of cross-country action.
As we get ready for the start of this men's race, we're about 6 minutes out for the start of this men's 8K, and we dive deep kind of into this team matchup. Looking at it, like we've been saying, it's the #1 versus the #2. We look at the #1 ranked NAU Lumberjacks. See them on your screen right there. Looks like those are the athletes who aren't running. A few, you see Jordy Beamish, Blaze Farrow. They did a workout this morning.
In the dark.
Drew Bosley did a workout this morning. It was with them, a nice little long run workout. But you look at this battle. You have NAU, again, not running two of their top guys, but you have a lot of freshmen and sophomores there. Theo Quox, Brody Hasty, Abdelhamid Noor, all redshirt freshmen going against this senior heavy. Thomas Ratcliffe is a sophomore, but he's really a fourth-year runner. But look at that. What are your thoughts on this matchup, NAU versus Stanford?
I think on paper, you look at some of the PRs of the Stanford squad, so deep, so strong. But, you know, similarly, you know, early in the seasons over the last 3 years, there's been guys on the NAU squad you're like, all right, I'm not sure about that guy. I don't know how he's going to be. But as the year progresses, they just become more and more dominant. You start to see them push towards the front of the pack, and they become the NAU that we know. But this is going to be tight. You know, we bring up the Northern Arizona versus Stanford battle, but again, let's not forget, Iowa State Cyclones are in the house. I'm really interested to see who runs today, how they're going to run it, and if they're just going to if they're going to throw a fork in this whole party.
Yeah, Iowa State has some great individuals. You take a look at the top individuals here, the top 8 ranked preseason individuals. Iowa State's got a few top dogs in it, obviously led by Edwin Kurgat, the #2 ranked individual in the preseason. Addison DeHaven, the transfer from Boise State, ranked 31st in the nation. So they got two guns to mix it up with these Stanfords and NAUs. What are your thoughts on this individual battle we got going down?
Yeah, I think Addie's an interesting ad. I think he was an All-American 2 years ago at Louisville. So, you know, he's a really good indoor 3K runner. So he brings some really, like we talked about, Iowa State's got some great front runners, but Addie brings a little bit of insurance there in that depth. and I see Jarrett Carpenter here also thrown in, and some in-state love. He's actually from Minnesota. I remember him. He's a really strong high school athlete coming out of Minnesota, and I remember everyone was like, "Wow, he's going to Purdue." And I think he's been kind of part of the renaissance for these Boilermakers to start getting some elbow room here in the Big Ten.
And Stanford, they have 4 guys ranked in the top 8 on our top 255 rankings going into this season. See IUPUI there, Purdue there to the left. But I can't wait. It's going to be, there's a lot of teams here. There's about 25, 26 teams. But really, it's going to feel like a small quad meet with Purdue, Iowa State, Stanford, and NAU.
Yeah, really exciting. I think this, especially in a small meet like this, when you can literally count the people on screen and you can just see those subtle movements and how quickly team points will add up. You can see that's the opening lineup there for NAU. A nice little shot there on the start line from our squad. You get an idea of who's towing the line and who's going to get their first little taste of NCAA cross country.
See Jordy Bemis again, wishing last final luck to his younger teammates. He's not running, but he's healthy. He's just taking it slow. We will most likely see Jordy at the Nuttycombe Invitational along with his teammate Blaze Farrow. But you see there's Theo Quawks, son of the late Dick Quawks, the Olympian. He's there with a nice little ponytail on his head. Luis Grijalva, the long hair. A lot of long hair in NAU. They let it.
But Brody cut his.
Brody cut his. So. Which is surprising, but the rest of the guys are keeping the tradition going with that long hair.
And you can see there are a couple other division, non-D1 squads here, but hey, that's cross country. I love mixing divisions here in cross country. That's the culture. We all love this sport, and there's a little crowd presence here. You'll see everybody dashing across the infield here. So. Getting squared away. Gordon, you teased it out a little bit, but as you mentioned, some of NAU's top guys not running today because they're doing a workout here at about 5:30 a.m. right next to the course. It was still dark out, and I think you got some nice content coming away from that morning.
They ran about 8 to 10 miles on the dirt roads here at 5:30 in the morning. Those were the athletes who. So NAU brought basically their entire team, and the athletes who aren't racing still got in some work. They did a little bit of a workout yesterday and then a second workout today. So it's kind of like half of a workout and another half. So over the 48 hours, they get a full workout in.
Like that. So yeah, even if they're not running, it's good to be here. It's good, again, get that rhythm, get the logistics. This is where we eat. This is where we do our stride outs. This is our hotel. Coach Smith is kind of get some of the younger guys used to it. Again, NAU won this NCAA title on this exact course back in 2016, and that was kind of the kickoff of this recent dynasty. NAU trying to become just the 3rd program in history to win 4 straight NCAA titles. 4 straight. Whew. I mean, that is, the luck. The war of attrition that is a cross-country season to keep your guys healthy. Nobody gets sick. Nobody gets mono. It's just so hard for that all to come together on the day.
See, they're Stanford athletes right there. They're the team that could maybe take them down. Alex Osberg, Stephen Fahey, the 6th-year senior, Thomas Ratcliffe, finally healthy after his 3rd-place finish at the NCAA Outdoor Championships. And we are off. Here we go. The start of the men's 8K run here at the John McNichols Invitational.
A big squad across your screen here. Again, number 1 and number 2 going to battle here on the championship course the first weekend of the season. You got to love it. Points on the line, bragging rights on the line, maybe a little gamesmanship. You sit in some guys, somebody's going to sit back. It's open, guys. 2019 is here. If you're not fit, well, you're not on the train.
And I'm excited to see what this Stanford Cardinal team does. Typically during the Miltonberg era, you never really saw their full A squad until the very end of the season. So rarely do you see their true A-plus squad all on the course at the same time. Their true freshmen aren't running, but their top dogs, those 13:30 5K runners, are all in the mix. And as expected, Stanford to the left, NAU right there to the right, and Indiana's B team there up as well.
Yeah, you can see NAU squad's got about all their guys right there. And this will be actually really fun to watch and count across the board here. Black and yellow, keep that in mind. We'll try to count up those spots as they kind of flow in here. I see Eastern Michigan out there in that classic green and white kit that I just it's like an old school utilitarian like East Bay look that Eastern Michigan rocks. They're on the outside of your screen there on the left. Indiana there in the mix. Couple unattached athletes as well. And then Iowa State on the far right, just ready to crash this party.
Trying to get a look at who Iowa State is running on their squad. Looks like David Tu is not in the mix. He's that late transfer from Florida A&M, transferred mid-year. But overall, they're still bringing a good squad.
So they're starting to roll down this opening hill. Give you a little heads up on conditions this weekend. So the course overall, pretty dry. Very little rain. Rain just a dash last night. But today this thing might run pretty quick. Not a ton of wind, which is what you worry about in this opening straightaway. And they're starting to roll down this hill. And then they'll make a soft right turn here coming up. And you can see everybody starting to jockey for position. Again, this is the men's 8K today, and nobody's throwing down just yet. They're moving slow. This is controlled.
Yeah, I think this is what no one wants to show their cards. It's September 21st. They don't really want to make this a race until the latter part of the race, and clearly it's bunched up.
Yeah.
No one really wants to take the lead. Abdihamid Nur trying to, the redshirt freshman from NAU, trying to get behind the Stanford athletes as you see the full field coming through.
Yeah, they're going to take this. One of the harder turns of the course is coming up there, and I noticed they added some padding down there. So they're coming up, towards about a K mark once they come off this turn.
So I think that K was right there.
Yeah.
So I think they hit the K about in 3 minutes.
We'll call it